This is Daily Armenia, ＳivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan is now a reality, Armenian Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan said in an interview with the country's TV Channel 1 yesterday. I want to say, unequivocally and firmly, that with the Washington agreements of August the 8th, it was recorded that there is now peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan, he said. Mirzoyan clarified that although the treaty has not yet been formally signed and ratified, the weight given to its pre-signing is unlikely to be surpassed in the following stages. He described peace as a process that requires constant care and efforts from both sides, stressing that the agreement is based on mutual benefit, without provisions favouring only one party. The minister also highlighted the agreement on reopening transport infrastructure as one of the key outcomes of the Washington talks. He stressed that Armenia will remain fully sovereign over roads passing through its territory, rejecting concerns that Azerbaijan might demand an extraterritorial corridor through Armenia's Syunik province to gain land access to its Nakhichevan exclave. Mirzoyan further reiterated that issues related to land ownership or long-term leases have not been part of the discussions so far. On the issue of 23 Armenian captives in Baku, Mirzoyan said that Armenia continues to raise the matter at every meeting with Azerbaijan and international partners. He noted that building peace and trust makes resolving this issue easier, recalling the return of 32 Armenian captives last year as an example. Mirzoyan also addressed Baku's position that the Armenian constitution poses an obstacle to finalising the treaty. Armenia, he said, does not share Azerbaijan's view that there is a problem in its constitution and has not undertaken any commitments to amend it at the request of any other country. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev has repeatedly claimed that the only remaining precondition for signing the peace deal is a change to Armenia's constitution, which, he argues, contains a territorial claim on Karabakh. Armenia will continue subsidizing tuition fees for all students from families displaced from Nagorno-Karabakh, including those newly enrolling in universities and vocational schools, Education Minister Janna Andreasyan announced yesterday. This policy will continue in the new academic year. We already have data for about 240 students, and those who have enrolled this year in universities and colleges with tuition fees will receive state scholarships to cover those costs, Andreasyan said. The minister noted that the programme was first introduced last year, covering first-year students, and will now extend to all newly enrolled students from forcibly displaced families. According to Andreasyan, the support will apply for the full duration of studies, provided students maintain satisfactory academic performance. Andreasyan stressed that the aim is not only to guarantee access to education, but also to ensure that students gain professional skills needed for successful integration into Armenia's labour market. She added that the ministry frequently receives inquiries from displaced families seeking clarification on eligibility and said it is important to keep the rules unchanged. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said today that he does not consider the Stockholm Chamber of Commerce arbitrator's order requiring Armenia to halt the nationalization of the country's electricity networks to be legally binding. If someone in the government does not agree with this, they must hand in their resignation, Pashinyan said. His remarks came after the Office of Armenia's High Representative on International Legal Matters, led by acting head Lirapit Drumyan, said last week that the arbitrator's decision is legally binding. The dispute is part of a longer-running saga around the nationalization of electricity networks of Armenia, the country's monopoly power grid operator. In June, the company's owner, Russian-Armenian billionaire Samvel Karapetyan, was arrested on charges of calling for the overthrow of the government after he expressed support for the church against Pashinyan's attacks. Pashinyan's government subsequently launched the nationalization process, citing ENA's critical importance for Armenia's daily life. The company's management was replaced and reforms were initiated. Karapetyan's family and legal representatives, including a Cyprus-registered holding that formally owns ENA, appealed to the Stockholm Chamber of Commerce arbitrator, which last month ordered Armenia to suspend the nationalization and refrain from changing the company's leadership as a preliminary measure. Armenia's Justice Minister Surbui Galyan dismissed the order's binding force earlier, but assured that the Karapetyan family and their structures would receive compensation for the takeover. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.